So I have you guys start with name, height, and weight, bud?
All right, so my name is Angelo Denson, and I am 6 foot, currently weighing in at 235 pounds.
I'm Dan Setzer. I'm coaching this motherfucker right here. And we're getting him ready for the November 20th show, be the Western Michigan.
Go ahead. Today, we'll do that. Yeah, today, go ahead and talk about your workout. You did back and a little biceps. Take us through the workout, the movements you did, and what you like about the movements, bud?
Yeah, so big coach Dan Setz here. We went through a back workout today where we started with some pull-ups, and then we went over to some hammer strength back rows, and then we went over to some more back rows, some lat pull downs, and then we finished up with some curls, some barbell curls, some dumbbell curls, and it felt pretty good. I'm currently a little bit over 4 weeks out, so it was a little bit of a stretch. Feeling pretty good. Energy's kind of low, but we're getting there. So.
Talking about the cardio and shit like that. How much cardio are you doing?
So, okay, so I am doing a warm-up of about 10 to 15 minutes to get my heart rate up. And then I go through the workout, and then usually after the workout, I do about an hour cardio, usually on the Stairmaster, about 4 or 5 times a day, or 4 or 5 times a week.
Is it like HIIT or is it standard?
So I do a HIIT 1 day a week, which is usually 30 seconds on, a minute off on the treadmill. Those are my HIIT days. So.
And what's your diet like now, but as opposed to like what was your diet like going into the show? And Dan, if you want to hop in on here and some of this too, you're welcome.
Go ahead.
So
what you've been doing lately.
So lately my diet has been 96.4 lean ground beef, jasmine rice, a couple of veggies, 10 ounces of chicken. Certain days I will have a cup and a half of rice. Certain days I won't. Veggies, tilapia, 10 ounces of tilapia, veggies or sweet potatoes. Or sometimes we swapped out for the chicken for the tilapia some days. About 1.5 gallons, which is getting real. And slowly been increasing the water week in and week out, and which causes me to pee a lot. So.
Tell us about the startup with it, Dan. Like,
sure.
You guys met?
Sure. So Angelo and I got linked up at Crunch Fitness last summer during early, like middle of Corona, when that gym started opening up. He reached out to me for coaching. He was a big boy. He was like 320 pounds, thick, just insane. I was like, yeah, I can coach you. He's talking about getting ready for a bodybuilding show and wanting to go the bodybuilding route. Crazy potential, crazy big. And he told me he was natural at the time. I was like, no fucking way, you're natural right now. 320 pounds with already 22-inch arms and natural. I was like, bro, you tripping. So turns out he was natural. He didn't know shit about anything. And then fast forward, where are we at? 14 months later? Yep. 14 months later, probably over 100 pounds of fat lost, maybe 20 or 30 pounds of muscle gained, at least. So we're on track with him. He's, like he said, about 5 weeks out. We want to peel another 10 pounds of fat off from here to the show. And then after the show, we're going to grow him lean. We're not going to let him get sloppy in the off season like he's been. Most of his life he's been a thicker guy. The plan for off season is to grow him lean and keep that condition, so everything we put on is appreciable muscle, and we can see the gains. No gaining 20 pounds of bloat immediately after the show. That's not how we do things. We want to do it slow and steady.
So, Bud, tell us a little bit about your background now. I know you have a football background and stuff. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that, Bud.
So, I originally came from Chicago, Illinois. Grew up in the inner city of Chicago, and figured that I needed a change. And so I knew some people who got me here. Eventually got me into the University of Michigan, where I tried walking on. No playing time, but I talked to a couple of guys I reached out to because I really wanted to play football. And then after that, went back home to Chicago. I had a sickly grandmother, and I just trained and trained and trained while I was there. Meanwhile, driving up to Michigan every weekend just because I didn't want to be at home dealing with the madness in the inner city. And then came back and attended Eastern Michigan University, where I met a lot of people, a lot of bodybuilders, football players. And I just trained every day. At this point, it was for nothing. It was just, I think it was more so
Just to be big.
And just more of a structure.
Yeah.
And so after that, I linked up with some people where I started a job at Ford Motor Company and continued to train just for mental reasons, and that's what led me here. And just
What you major in at Eastern?
so it was kinesiology. My major was kinesiology, and
That's not bad. That's good.
yeah, so
My brother has a degree in kinesiology.
yeah,
He's making like $30,000 a year.
yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, it's a good degree.
So yeah, that was about it, and that's when this whole bodybuilding thing took place.
What kind of made you decide to want to? I mean, obviously, you look crazy, but
So
like, what pulled you into it? Kind of?
So I know he touched on reaching out to him in COVID. I knew I wanted to change. I didn't know what. So I knew I always had these big legs, but they were very deceiving. I could barely squat 315. And everybody knew, they just knew I could do 405, 5 plates, 6 plates, and that was never the case. And so when I reached out to Dan, I told him one of the things that I wanted to do, one of many things I wanted to do was get my legs stronger and also peel some fat. And I didn't know how to do it. And, I reached out to him, and, he got me on the proper path, and we started with a diet.
Structure to his
Yeah.
life.
That's mainly what it was.
He knew what to do, but he was not structured in any type of sense.
Yep.
So we put structure in the routine for the workout, for the cardio, and for the food. And he has not fucked up. This guy is very driven and motivated, staying on plan, staying on task. It's a no bullshit attitude. He does exactly as I say, and the results are there. I mean, it's evident in the physique today. So.
Yeah, he looks crazy. Teeny waist, huge legs, big upper bodies, calves, everything. And like we had talked about off camera, can you talk a little bit about the difference, Dan, where training just for yourself and then training for bodybuilding and like this the switch and what that entails, kind of?
So when we linked up with Angelo, he did not know how to train like a bodybuilder. That was his number one thing. Like, I want to train like a bodybuilder. And so I ran him through everything, deadlifts and squats. Were the main two that we focused on in the beginning. He didn't have any type of good form, let's just call it that. He was moving the weight, but it was wobbly and shaky, and I was like, bro, you need to slow it down, relax, let's go through it, let's feel it as we're doing it. So completely restructured all of his form for basically every lift, right?
Pretty much
every lift, maybe except the bench press, because this guy's got a stupid bench already. So we brought up the squat. What did you end up squatting in the off season?
So I know it's still not very much, but I think we got up to about 515
for reps.
For reps,
yeah.
for quality reps, and starting from barely 225 to 515 for quality reps. I think that's a huge improvement. So.
Yeah, what's your bench at?
What's your OG bench max?
I've never really taken a bench max, but I think I've pressed 415 for about 12 to 15 times.
Yeah.
I actually think I have it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I've never just taken a 1 rep max, but.
And then since we transitioned him from into bodybuilding, we kind of stopped doing so much flat bench press. It's just dangerous. If anyone's gonna rip their pec or their shoulder or get injured, it's gonna be flat bench press, barbell most likely.
There's a lot of pros who do flat.
Yeah, it's more of an ego lift in terms of bodybuilding. So we switched him from that and put him on the dumbbells, hammers, and cables. Yep.
Can you tell us what it was like, bud, going? I mean, this is like a true success story for you here, coming from Chicago and, the city and stuff, moving out here, what that was like, and, the struggles and stuff you went through with that?
Yeah, so absolutely. Growing up at home, it was a struggle. I grew up in the inner city where I never met my dad, and My mother she was pretty much in the street all day, all night, never came home. So I was raised by my grandmother and my sister. And they took, they were the stronghold of the family. And, I have 4 siblings, and it's me, my younger brother, my younger sister, and my older sister who took care of all of us. And, it was rough. And I think I turned to working out just to suppress all the other things that were happening in my life. And I think, lifting weights, I always said lifting weights was the only girl that could hurt me in a good way, or only thing that could hurt me in a good way, because it broke me down to build me up. And I think I really believe that if it wasn't for weightlifting and my grandmother and my sister, I probably wouldn't be here on this earth today. So then making the transition from Chicago to Michigan was a whole different element. It was a whole different, especially the University of Michigan. It was a whole different element. And so, but then I learned there. I learned how to just stay focused and be structured, and just have some type of structure. Kind of what football taught me. Just being focused, having a regiment, and something I wasn't used to. And I think that's what started my progression towards being on a road of path to success. So.
Is your grandmother still with you?
No, we lost my grandmother 2 years ago, 2019, actually today. So 2019, we lost Jessie Mae Denson, October 16, 2019. Yep. So today's our 2-year anniversary. So Ma, we love you. But yeah, she was definitely one of the ones she was the glue. So she brought us up in the way we should go.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure she's very proud of you and everything. That's amazing, and that's a true story, an inspirational story coming from that. Speaking of that, like people you want to thank, friends, family, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank my older sister. My older sister, it was the one who, we were going to enter Child Protective Services at home, and she's the one who told everybody no, that she would take care of us. We had nobody. I was a football player in high school. I played a lot of drums. And we had no support. And she was the only one that was really the root of it all. So I want to give a shout out to her, right? Because she was one of the ones that, like I said, I think brought out the best of me. And then even coming here, right? You got to give it to, I call him Coach Big Dan Sets, because he changed my life for the better, right? I think he knew exactly what to do. I pretty much handed him my life and said, hey, look, I want to change, I want to structure, I want this, and that's exactly what he did. And it's not only structure of the body, but structure of the mind, the heart, my mental health. So that's huge coming from a guy who,
We're strangers.
Yeah,
Strangers.
it's just strangers, right? And you never know who God puts in your life and for what reason. And so I believe that's a huge big deal, And so and even the people, just the great people of Michigan. I've had so many people come out and talk to me and support me, and never even met me before, and just say, hey man, look, you've got potential to do this. You can do anything you want. And it's just those little things that you don't even know that drive you to a certain degree. So
That's awesome, man. That's very cool. And especially, you're not like you're a personal trainer, you're working, you're a full-time supervisor at Ford too. That's a lot with, plus prepping for a show. That's like 2 jobs.
Yeah. My boss, Mike Wilmot, I got to give a shout out to him too, because I'm serious, because that guy, he's one of the guys at Ford Motor Company who believed in me. He's the type of guy who he gives you the tools that you need, not only for inside of Ford Motor Company, but to use outside of Ford Motor Company. And I think that's one of the major things. I think people they get teachings for work, and that's it, how to use it in the workplace. But he gives you tools to live outside of the workplace as well. So, Mike, I thank you and appreciate you too for that. So, other than that, I'm thankful for everything. So, yeah.
Dan, you want to talk about your people you want to thank and stuff, and talk about your coaching and stuff like that?
Sure. Yeah. Just real quick, I'd like to thank Aaron Messer, who passed away recently. He was one of my favorite all-time coaches. He coached me for a prep that I was going to do. Ended up didn't doing it, but that guy, I just want to say thanks to Aaron. He taught me a lot, and stuff that I utilize today with Angelo and most of my clients. I learned a lot from Aaron, so I want to give a big shout out to him. And then, yeah, if you guys want coaching from me, you can find me on Instagram at Daniel Setzer. I like to take people who are driven, dedicated. You don't have to be a competitor, but if you are a competitor, I'd be more than happy to get you in shape, get you ready for a show. Earlier this year, we had a bikini girl. She took first in novice, and then she took second in the open. She looked really good. Angelo, we got big plans for him, plans for open and plans for classic. We got the show in 5 weeks. We're going to get a qualification. The plan is then to put him at least 15 to 20 pounds on in the next 12 months after the show, get him ready for nationals, and get him a pro card, and eventually an Olympia tracksuit.
Dude, I don't doubt it, man. Seriously, like I've worked with Evan Senapani and Kai and some of the big names in the industry, and seeing him, like even his pictures on Instagram do not do him justice. He's got a teeny ass waist, you know, he's very well balanced and everything. It's crazy, really, it's crazy.
The potential this kid has is crazy. Nobody knows about him right now. He's literally unknown. He walks into this gym and all of a sudden, you know, Jeff gets calls about him. Who is this guy? Who's this black guy at Fenton Powerhouse? Who is this shredded monster? And people be hitting me up about him like, yo, Angelo's looking crazy. Yeah, no shit. Wake up. Angelo's coming. That's it.
Yeah, I want to thank Powerhouse Fenton. Yeah, they treated me so good here. I come here, you know, every day or every, you know, 3 or 4 times out of the week, and it's just grind. I put my head down, you know, Mr. Dwayne, Mr. Kevin. Yeah, they always take good care of me. Anything I need, you know, they always just super nice. Great environment. You know, I love this place. It's one of the best places that I've ever trained, to be honest. And that's why I drive from Farmington Hills to come all the way here. And it's just one of those things that, I mean, to Dan's point, you know, I never thought it'll be here. I never thought it'll be where people will be like, well, who's this guy? I just wanted to come in here, put my head down and train and just, you know, do what I can and inspire whoever I can around me. And that's just kind of how it is, right? So.
Well, that's awesome, man. We'll definitely follow along and keep us updated on how everything goes, man. But I think you're going to kill it. So that's awesome, man. Good luck and everything. We'll talk to you soon.